Mystery Machine drives through farm country on the way to Hagglethorn Castle. When hauntings await our heroes upon their arrival, it may be a horseman. Welcome to Mystery Machine.
Meddling kids. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Ethan.
And how we doing today? There's like a haunted horseman. It's from the title sequence, Ethan.
I know. He's here.
So this is one of the episodes that I had never seen before as a small child. So I had no idea where that came from in the intro sequence. I was like, what is this? Is this just generic Scooby-Doo villain? But it's from an episode.
Crazy.
Wild things happening here today. So
indeed.
And the celebrity guest for the episode happens to be Davy Jones.
And he does not have a locker in the castle at all.
He does not. This is true. Ethan, we gotta talk about this Davy Jones guy, where he comes from.
We gotta talk about this Davy Jones fella.
I do enjoy the fact that they literally make a joke about, like, the band that he's famous for, which is the Monkees.
Yes, I did appreciate that.
Which I was like, wait, this is the guy who's in that band. I was right, ha ha ha. So yeah, he's a singer-songwriter, also apparently an actor, best known for being part of the band The Monkees.
Yes.
And let's see if I've seen him in anything else, because I do believe I have seen him in other things, just not like knowing who the fuck he was, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because,
He was in an episode of Phineas and Ferb.
He was. Okay. I need to remember this episode of Phineas and Ferb. It's called Meatloaf Surprise. What episode is this?
Candace gives herself a bad haircut.
What? Interesting.
I don't remember this.
Why? And the character of Nigel is played by Davy Jones.
Who's Nigel? What is he doing?
He sings a song in the episode, though, so that's very important.
Okay. That makes sense.
He must sing something in the episode, right? Because it's Davy Jones.
Why would you have him here if not to sing things?
Yeah. This is also, like, that was his last acting appearance before he passed away in 2012.
He was in an episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Hey Arnold.
I did watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Like, I did watch all of it a few years back, so... But I do not remember most of the individual episodes, so...
He was also in an episode of SpongeBob as himself.
Apparently SpongeBob SquarePants versus the Big One, which sounds vaguely familiar as something that existed on TV. Whether I watched the episode itself, I definitely saw, like, the commercials for it.
Yeah.
That makes sense, of course. There's the featured music is a song from the Monkees. Okay.
That makes sense.
And he's only in the episode to make a joke on Davy Jones' locker, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Because
why wouldn't he be there?
SpongeBob loves to make jokes on that anyway, so of course.
Yeah, sure. He's in the Brady Bunch as himself. So it looks like a lot of these is just him being himself.
I was gonna say about half of them are him being himself. Sometimes he plays somebody else. Apparently the Monkees had their own, like, sitcom for a couple years.
Yeah.
Where they played themselves and did some stuff.
I don't know.
Oh my goodness. He was in, like, an old animated movie?
What?
No, a couple old animated movies where he was in Animated Treasure Island and Oliver Twist from the 70s.
Interesting.
Very cool. He does have a very memorable voice.
Yeah, he's hard to forget.
Yeah, well, that's Davy Jones. Do we wanna get into the episode?
Yep. So the gang is going to Hagglethorn Hall, which is a Scottish castle that's been brought over to the US, which, if you recall, listeners, that was the plot of a previous episode, Gaggle of Galloping Ghosts.
Exactly. This is not the first time, nor will it be the last time, that also specifically a Scottish castle is brought over brick by brick.
Wild.
Because maybe the other one is an Irish castle. Regardless, it's a castle from the British Isles.
Okay.
That is brought over and recreated brick by brick, and it's insane.
Wild.
But, Ethan, they're not lost today. Like, I mean, they get
No.
lost briefly, but they have a place that they're going, and they ask
Yes.
for directions. I'm so proud.
For once, Fred, you set aside your straight man pride and asked for directions. Thank you, sir.
I think the only other time they asked for directions was, like, the one with the headless guy. You remember that one, right? There was a fork in the road. Fuck. I like that episode too. Is it Don't Fool with the Phantom, I think? No, not that one. Haunted House Hang Up.
Yes.
With the headless guy.
The headless butler guy.
Who, I mean, he's not the butler, he's just the guy who owns the house.
Yeah.
Who's trying to, keep people from stealing his family fortune.
Yeah.
I think that's the only other time they actually ask for directions. They still got lost, but...
You can give people directions. You can't expect them to follow them to a T.
True.
But we get our first shenanigan pretty early on, as Scooby dives into a basket and eats an entire chicken, bones and all.
Oh, of course. It's also not the first time, or not the last time, that Scooby will jump into an entire basket and eat all of it.
Yeah.
And also not the last time that a random farmer guy tells them about, secret scary thing that they should stay away from, and may or may not also be involved in said scary thing.
Yeah. But we're out of gas.
The tropes are abound.
Yes, but we're out of gas. So we stop by this farmer's place. His name is Weedley. He gives them some gas, and they tell him where they're going. And I guess Shaggy, like me, has hay fever.
Yeah, poor guy. I mean, it's not fun.
No.
So he's allergic to all the hay around. Sorry, you're in farm country, dude. Also, you're literally in farm country, Ethan. Like, how do you survive there?
And my grandparents grow hay. I know. It's crazy. Though the worst it gets is like what Shaggy gets. Like, it's just sneezing. Sometimes my eyes water. That's really it.
Still, you'd think you'd grow an immunity or something. Like,
you would think that, wouldn't you?
But they're interrupted as they ask for these directions by the haunted horseman himself appearing on just out of the blue, and his lance takes the pumpkin head off of the scarecrow.
Which, first of all, Mr. Weedley, sir, why would you put a pumpkin on your scarecrow? Because that pumpkin's going to rot.
I was gonna say, I feel like is the opposite of what you want for a scarecrow, because it's supposed to scare away the animals.
Yeah.
And you're putting food on it. It's not going to be scaring away. It's going to be enticing them, actually.
Yeah.
So, bad idea. Also, I feel like we should immediately know it's not a ghost because it knocked the head off.
Right. Shaggy faints.
As you do. You see a terrifying guy, you're like, ah. But we're gonna go over to Hagglethorn Hall anyway because, you know what? They want to be tourists. They want to go sightseeing, okay? Leave them be. Also, there's a mystery on their hands. So.
I mean, they can't resist a good mystery.
So they gotta go all the way down to the end of the lane, and it'll be right there. The fact that Daphne's like, Shaggy, what could happen to you in an old castle? And then Shaggy's like, that's just what Henry VIII said to Anne Boleyn.
I did not expect Shaggy to be a history buff, but here we are.
Apparently Shaggy knows some things. He has more knowledge than we would think.
He has knowledge of British royal history, apparently.
Well, everybody's got to have their hobbies. Maybe that's one of his hyperfixations. Who knows?
Who knows?
So they get to the hall and they're like, how do we open this thing? What do we do here? And Shaggy's leaning on one of the little like horse guys that are just little poles chilling there, and it triggers the drawbridge to one, nearly kill them, but it's also to come down so that they can walk across and knock on the door.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Velma points out how dark the water is, and then we get a big old frog.
Yeah, but only Scooby notices it. Because, like, everybody's just like, yeah, the water's dark, can't see nothing in there. Scooby sees 2 eyes. It's a ribbit! It's a ribbit!
I mean, the Egyptian word for cat is Mao, so, like...
Which is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's perfect.
The Egyptian's like, what are you, Mao? Noted, thank you.
It's a Pokemon.
Exactly.
We should start doing that. Listen, just name all of the animals after what sound they make.
So a cow is a moo, a horse is a...
A horse is a neigh.
That's fair.
I mean, cows are already moos. Do you not call them moos?
Not really.
Abby does.
Good for her.
Okay, so we don't exactly knock against the door, but like, you know, Scooby being scared enough knocks up against the door and lets the butler know, hey, we're here. We want a tour of the castle, but like, it's okay. We can come back later. We're kind of scared now.
Yeah.
But the fucking gate closes behind them.
Yikes.
Which, what? Hello? This is not explained.
Well, and Charlie, we also get what you've described as Scooby-Doo creepy face on the butler here.
Yes. Creepy face and creepy voice.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they come hand in hand, sometimes not.
They are really trying to sell us on the fact that this butler is shady.
Well, yeah, it's always got to be the butler that's shady.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're the people who know the you know, the grounds the best, so they would know all the secret passages and such. They can come and creep up on you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But he invites them in, so we're going for a tour.
Hooray.
Yay.
And then we see the horseman at the top of the stairs. Oh no! But then he falls to the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah, a very menacing horseman.
Mm-hmm. And then we get an unmasking very early on in this episode, and it's just Davy Jones.
Yeah. Also, apparently he's just wearing a bunch of tin cans.
No, I don't believe that.
It's unclear. I mean, at least they say that they're tin cans, but either way, they're just, like, not really working for him.
No. But Davy Jones dressed up in this fake suit of armor to try and scare off the horseman.
Yeah, why not? He's like, well, you try to scare me off, I'm gonna do the same to you.
Yep.
I also love how he's introduced to Shaggy and Scooby, who are they immediately hid in some pots. I think that might also be a shenanigan.
Yeah, hiding in and behind a pot.
Shaggy is called Captain Courageous, and then Scooby is called part terrier and part terrified by Fred.
No, that makes sense.
And Davy's like, oh, what breed is he? That's an interesting dog. There's no way he's a terrier.
No. I mean, he might be mixed with terrier, but that's probably the closest it would be. He's definitely a Great Dane, and it's been specified as such.
Yeah.
But we get some exposition from Davy. He's like, hey, his great uncle brought over the castle from Scotland brick by brick, and they're saying that the Haunted Horseman came along with the castle, apparently. And because of that, the tourists aren't coming. So he's going to have to sell the castle to the Duke.
The Duke of Strathmore.
Dun, dun, dun.
Who wants to sell the bricks as souvenirs?
Sir.
How? Why? Just keep the castle. It's a cool castle.
Right.
Like, but I want a castle.
Same. But we get some commentary on the creepy face design from Shaggy. He's like, yeah, that butler is so creepy. And
obviously he's the one who did it, of course,
yeah,
right?
of course. And Shaggy says, I bet he's behind the whole thing. And Davy says, yeah, I know one thing, he's behind you. And Shaggy just fucking faints again.
Yeah, this is a shenanigan because Scooby brings out, like, a little trolley thing for him.
Yeah, so a dolly just out of nowhere.
Yeah. So Shaggy faints onto it, and Scooby sits on it with Shaggy, and the butler wheels them both away as they're going to talk to the uncle.
He seems to be very chill about that, considering they just accused him of trying to basically sabotage his own job.
Honestly, this man is cool as a cucumber this entire episode.
He really
Like,
is.
he's just like, I just work here. I'm not paid enough to, like, talk back at you.
I mean, according to Cedric, he hasn't been paid in a while, so I'm surprised he's even here.
Mm.
Unless they're giving him
Maybe
free
it's
room and board.
I was gonna say, maybe it's he's just living there, or it's out of loyalty. Like,
Yeah.
it could be one of those things, like, I've just been with the family forever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, but as they are going to see the uncle, the Earl,
Mm-hmm.
he is writing a letter to the Duke saying, hey, you can have the castle. Like, fuck. But there's also somebody in the suit of armor right
Yeah.
next to him who's listening in on this as he's narrating his letter out loud.
Interesting.
But the kids come in and they're like, no, we're gonna solve this mystery. You don't need to do this. We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
Specifically, Shaggy's like, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. As the next shenanigan occurs, where there's a trap door comes out from underneath him and Scooby, and now they're in the moat.
Yep.
And the gang is now concerned that, oh no, the moat monster is gonna get them.
And then they're just chilling in the moat.
I almost feel like the moat monster is the more menacing of the
Yeah.
baddies in the episode.
The moat monster actually causes harm.
Yeah.
The horseman just kills a scarecrow.
Yeah. They are chilling for a second in the water when
Yeah.
everybody sees them. But then the moat monster is also behind them, and he's kind of big and scary. He's a big frog.
He's a giant frog. Like, there's no reason I wouldn't be scared of that.
Yeah. So Shaggy and Scooby are running so fast they are basically walking on water. And they have is it seaweed? Or is it just vines or something?
Some sort of underwater plant that they're pulling this moat monster along with them.
Yeah, like he's water skiing behind them. So this is
shenaniganery.
Some shenaniganery. The gang's all back together. They drop him off in the water, and we have to figure out where we're gonna search for some clues, guys. But Shaggy don't want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, nope, no way. I'm gonna walk away. Goodbye. Not doing it.
Scooby tries to join him, but he trips over his own feet.
Yeah. Like, even Velma's just like, et tu, Scooby?
So falls Scooby, I guess.
Yeah. And even Davy's calling them both chickens. And, of course they're gonna do, like, their little chicken thing.
Yep.
And they literally try to walk across the drawbridge back out, but the drawbridge starts coming up as they're walking across it. I think this could be the butler's revenge, actually.
It might be, yeah.
He's like, no, you have to stay here.
Yeah, he's like, I'll get them back at some point. I may not have committed, I may not have tried to, sabotage my job, but I don't like these people specifically. Yeah,
exactly. Okay. I was just like, what is it that Shaggy's pulling out of his butt? You got a splinter.
It's a splinter.
Is this a clue? No, it's literally just wood. Okay. So,
I mean,
yeah.
So we get Davy and the girls going into this. What room does he say this is?
It's a room.
The music room. Yeah, makes sense.
So Velma's literally the one who's like, let's split up, guys. We gotta go into two groups. And so, yeah. They're in the music room with a bunch of, furniture with the sheets on them. And there's a mysterious chair that has legs and is following them.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it has eye holes.
Listen, whoever's under there has to see, otherwise they'd be stumbling all over the place.
I want to know if there's also a chair under there, or if they're just, like, really good at doing that particular pose.
I mean, it's possible. But right as Velma's about to unmask whoever's under the chair, the piano starts playing itself very badly.
Yeah, because there's a cute little kitty under there.
Mm-hmm.
Davy finds, I think its name is Jinx. It's very cute
Jinx,
kitty.
yeah.
Yeah. I also
And
did think it was
then
funny when Mom was just like, where did that chair come from? Probably Scotland.
that was good.
Davy says. Like, well, yeah, that's where they all came
Duh.
from. But that chair was following us.
Yeah. They all sneeze, and even the chair sneezes, which causes his sheet to launch off of himself and perfectly cover the three of them, giving him time to run away.
So we have no idea who it is. Like, it's off screen that person is gone, and they're just under a sheet. It's like, well, now we gotta follow the footprints, figure out who the fuck that is. And then we cut to our second gang, which is
Scooby, Shaggy, and Fred.
Look! They've done it before! We've had Fred and Shaggy split off together. It's happened, guys. I feel like this is very important.
It is important.
Because I distinctly remember an episode of What's New Scooby-Doo. Y'all have probably seen the meme at this point. But, like, there's an episode where they make fun of it. Like, they split up the teams differently. And Fred and Shaggy are together. And they're like, we have nothing in common. What's happening here? And I'm just like, they can split up together, guys.
Yeah, there's no reason why they can't.
They usually end up sleeping in the same bed together. Like, come on. They're boyfriends.
But then Fred hears a faint beating noise, and Scooby turns his ear into a horn or something, and puts his literal ear to the ground, and, oh shit, the Horseman's here.
It's like when you put the glass or something to, the wall. Yeah. It's like you're trying to, it's something about, like, the vibrations and everything. It does help.
Yeah. But they run through into a different room. They bolt the door, and, like, Fred's, okay, barricade the door. Yep. The Horseman comes in the other side of the room.
Yes!
So they have to unbarricade the door.
That's how the barricades fucking work, Ethan! That's the whole gag! This is shenanigan time!
Indeed it is.
I do also think that the chair itself might have been a shenanigan. I don't know if you wrote that down.
I don't know if I did, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway.
Cool. Yeah. So, the barricade did not do nothing, and now we're in a different room with the butler. Be like, hey, the haunted horseman, he's right there, he's in the other room. And the butler's like, is he invisible? Because I don't see him. He's not there. He disappeared. Dun, dun, dun. What? But he's a ghost, so there you go. He can ride through walls, he can disappear into thin air. And also, the servant disappeared immediately.
Very suspicious.
So, it's a castle, there's secret passages everywhere,
Yep.
And now, of course, haunted horsemen chasing them once more. We have to go to a different room and maybe barricade another door.
So Shaggy and Fred just stand in front of the door, and Scooby turns around, and the haunted horseman comes out of the chimney.
Yeah, like Santa.
The only gift he's delivering is death.
I was gonna say spooks or something.
Listen, that lance is very real. He killed the jack-o'-lantern.
He did. Scooby ends up on the chandelier because he's so afraid of this guy coming after him. Freddy and Shaggy are, like, just going through the doors, like, running away, and Scooby lands on the horse behind the night guy.
And then Fred and Shaggy are like, oh shit, Scooby disappeared. And Fred's like, he'll turn up whenever somebody says food. Then Scooby turns around, taps the horse on the shoulder, and is like, hey, you have some food?
There's, like, a very specific gag going on in this episode alone that I don't think ever occurs again, which is, like, which it keeps being, like, Fred saying, like, the wrong thing around Scooby specifically.
Yeah.
Like, he says food, he says, like, fleas later on, like, and every time, like, it makes Scooby react in a certain way, and Shaggy's like, you need to be careful what you say around Scoob, like...
Yeah, I don't remember this ever happening before, so I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like this is just a one-off gag for this episode alone. I
Interesting.
mean, certainly, like, if you say something like food or, like, spooky ghost or whatever, like, Scooby does react, but the way
Yeah.
that it's, like, Fred forgetting and Shaggy
Yeah.
reminding him, that's very specific to the episode.
Yep.
Scooby does fall off the horse. Shaggy, Freddy, and the Horseman all kind of, like, loop around the hallway, and Shaggy and Freddy have grabbed Scoob as the Horseman's now chasing them all.
But they hide in some cauldrons, and I guess Scooby hid in a cauldron that had a bunch of fish in it. Because we get another shenanigan, because Scooby just keeps chucking the fish skeletons out as he's eating them in very rapid succession.
As one does. So Shaggy's saying, like, okay, this Horseman keeps popping in and out of the walls. He's a real fucking ghost. Okay? Like, this proves it. That's a ghost. We can't prove that it's a fake. And Fred's like, no, it's fake. Trust me. I just know it.
Yeah.
So they're going on their merry way, and Shaggy's like, where are you, haunted horseman? Come out, come out. And then it fades to the other group.
Shaggy, don't force him to come out. He'll come out when he needs to.
So I think the next sequence is the real fun one.
Yes. This is where the shenanigans really tick upwards, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta have the, the sliding, like, ooh, this is the big point of the shenanigans in the episode.
Yes.
It's usually a chase sequence.
Mm-hmm.
And so Davy and the girls are heading into a room. There's like a picture on the wall that's eyes are following them. Ooh. Velma's like, it feels like we're walking into a trap.
It'll be fine.
And lo and behold,
it's a trap.
The doors close on them. They cannot open them. Ooh.
They cut the lights off. Footprints appear on the floor, and then
not just footprints, like white ghostly footprints.
Yeah. So Davy's like, okay, now's the time we gotta prove he's not a ghost. And Davy's like, how do we do that? And Velma's like, well, Davy can help us out. And Davy's like, okay, how? Tackle him.
Yeah, just go tackle him. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. I do think it's weird, though, that this scene has a different, like, night design than the rest of the episode. It
definitely looks more like the Black Knight ghost.
Yeah, it does.
In the very first episode than the one they went with. At least when he's on the horse.
Yeah, because when he's on the horse, he's, like, got this, like, glowing gray stuff on him, and he does not have, like, a plume on his helmet.
Yeah.
So it looks just like a suit of armor, to be honest.
But after Davy tries to tackle the ghost and chases him around for a little bit, they spot a projector on a bookshelf.
What? No way! It's because this is a different guy. He's not real.
No.
Well, clearly the ghost can't be real, guys. Even if he can go through walls. Also, Daphne, of course, stumbles upon a secret passage, as you do, because there's a bookcase. So you gotta pull out the right book.
I've seen people actually make these in their house. And if I'm ever fortunate enough to own a home, I would do that.
Same. No, that will be required. If me and Abby ever own a house together, there will be a library with one of these kinds of doors.
I mean, she's going to be a doctor. Like, I'm sure it's going to happen at some point.
Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
Meanwhile, Fred, Shaggy, and Scooby are still running from the haunted horseman.
And they come to a dead end.
Yeah, can you not use the word dead, Ethan? Come on. Like, there's no place to hide here. What are we gonna do? There's just a wall. And he's coming towards us. And then there's an opening in the wall.
Yoinked.
They are literally yoinked. First Fred and Shaggy, then Scooby, and the wall closes up and it's dark. Where the fuck are we? Who saved us?
I don't know.
We're all here, we're good, and it's the butler.
Immediately taking his name off the suspect list.
Perhaps.
We've been referring to him as the butler. His name is Creech. He has a name. Good for him.
I did keep forgetting that fact. Listen, he's got like the butler. What's the word I'm looking for?
Aesthetic.
Like, no, it's the character model. He has like
Okay.
the generic Scooby-Doo butler character model that like
Yes.
happens quite often in these shows.
Right. Yeah.
They're usually just recolored.
Yes.
Sometimes. Not even always recolored.
Right.
So I'm just like, it's a butler. Doesn't matter.
But Creech has some information, and he says, this is how the ghost has been getting around. There's these secret hallways.
Yeah,
and
like
doors.
I said.
The butler knows things.
The butlers always know every inch of the place, right?
They have to.
Exactly. So we find a few secret doors and things, and that's how he gets in and out.
But Scooby sits on a horseshoe nail, which proves,
Yeah,
hey, he's not a ghost. There's a real horse.
I mean, Scooby was in fact sitting on a real horse. So
yeah,
they didn't take that part into account.
I guess not. But then Shaggy puts his hand on the wall up against a shield, and another secret passage opens.
Yep. So they're going in there, and then this is the sequence that I thought it was. So Davy and the girls are now in some secret caverns underneath the castle, it seems. Did they bring all of this with them from Scotland? Was this also part of the brick by brick?
There's no bricks here, Charlie. It's a cave.
Are you sure about that? Then again, Velma does in fact say, like, oh, look at those stalagmites, stalactites, like, naturally formed here. And I'm just like, I thought the whole plot of this was that this was brought over.
Okay, Charlie,
how did they find
building, the building above them was brought over.
But how
the
did they
cave was already there?
They specifically put this castle on top of these caverns. It's just very, like, happenstance, you know? Very interesting.
There's hundreds of miles of caves underneath the US, so...
Yeah. But why did the secret passage take them into the caverns?
Interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it was planned.
Who knows?
From the beginning.
But they see some footprints from presumably the moat monster.
Yep. I mean, we gotta follow footprints. We gotta follow the baddies. Where are the clues? And there are a bunch of pools down here in these caves.
Mm-hmm.
And what's bubbling down there? It's a frog.
It's the moat monster. He's back. And then Velma has another great idea, and she's like, okay, Davy, sing to the frog. Get him to calm down.
Yeah, music soothes the savage beast, is what she says.
That's definitely how that works. And then he says one of my favorite lines this whole episode. He says, I've never sung for frogs, just monkeys. Yeah,
which is great. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So Davy starts to sing a song, which, hey, Ethan, this is a very familiar song that we may have heard last season, not sung by Davy Jones, but...
No, sung by a different man.
Yeah, this was used in a different chase sequence.
Yes.
In another episode from Where Are You?
Mm-hmm. I think it's in the trivia. I don't remember which one it is, but...
Yeah, it is.
But while the monster is chasing them, they're, like, dancing away.
Yeah, they just start hopping and bouncing like frogs, occasionally. Mm-hmm. And, like, the frog, like, bounces into the stalactites. They're running. They're hopping along this, like, little... Because there's, like, stones across this little pond.
Yeah.
And such. They go this way, they go that way. And it's just very cute, an adorable sequence. I don't know how much of this is shenanigans. This is one.
I put it down as 3.
Okay. What, like the song itself?
The song itself.
The hopping.
The hopping and the dancing. 3.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't exactly do a Doors gag, but they do like oh, we're running, and it kind of reminds me of What's New Scooby-Doo, like the ending sequence where they got like the
Yeah.
different running things across
Right.
that.
Well, they basically do the same thing in reverse.
Yeah. And then to hide from the frog, they're now like in one of the ponds with like straws or whatever so they can breathe. And he's like, "Oh, I guess I lost them. I don't know where they are." Okay. So
Which, like,
they
based on
they made the way.
who we find out is inside the moat monster, how would he have been able to see them?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's like a mascot head where you could see out of the mouth? I don't know.
Oh, it could be. Could be.
So we're back with Fred and the Scared Gang. And we
Yep.
get more of the Fred saying the wrong thing. Fred says his entire castle is at stake. And Shaggy's like, well, now you fucked up. Scooby thinks there's steak.
Yeah. Also, I don't think we mentioned this before, but we do have a time crunch to work on. Like,
Yes.
we're trying to do this. We're trying to find out that it's not a real ghost before, like, nightfall or something. Like,
some like that. I think that's what Fred says.
and
It's nightfall.
yeah, and like Shaggy's like, "Oh, it's already 4. Like, we gotta hurry up, guys." So,
Yep. And then Scooby kicks a statue, which opens another secret passage.
yes, kicking a statue. That's how I want to get places in my home.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't really matter because we don't actually go into the secret passage. Because random person behind the curtain opens up another secret door underneath them.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Davy and the girls are still being chased by the moat monster.
Yeah. They have to run across a gorge, which is never a great idea.
No,
honestly.
and they can't get out after they cross it. So they're like, "What the hell do we do?" And they're like, "Well, nothing can stop it now." And then Scooby, Froggy, and Shed, Deus Ex, Scooby, Shaggy, and Fred. God.
Fraggy.
That's
Fraggy
their
is their
ship
ship
name
name. Well, it's either Fraggy or Shed.
I like Fraggy more.
So
It
yeah,
sounds like Fraggle.
Yeah, exactly. So,
We get some the most Gandalf-ass shenanigans here because they crash through the bridge.
yes, they're able to make it like they crash down and they're like, shit, it's crumbling underneath us. They go to either side and then the bridge is gone. And the frog is so mad on the other side.
So mad that he rips a stalagmite out of the ground and uses it as a bridge. Jesus Christ, how strong is this spoiler's old man that's inside the frog costume?
Listen, he just like never skips arm day. And maybe leg day because he's doing some hopping there.
He is a farmer, so like
I don't know, man.
They do a lot of manual labor.
Yeah. So then there's like a terrible noise that at least Davy says, like, this sounds like a lonesome chicken. Like, what's going on here? But it's actually just Scooby. Scooby is howling to try to, like, scare the frog away, I guess.
Yep.
But actually, he takes some stalactites coming crashing down, and one of them crashes into the frog costume so that the person does not get stabbed.
Nope.
But instead is able to climb out of it and run the fuck away, which, okay, this is an interesting one. There's like a little secret key or something in one of the stalagmites, and he uses this to get out of there and also trap them inside this cavern.
Mm-hmm. And then we get something that I haven't seen before, where Shaggy scares Scooby into digging underneath the door.
I do think there are times when, like, I don't know if necessarily Shaggy scares him, but, like, I feel like that is, like, one of those things where, Shaggy and Scooby do have, like, powers when they're scared, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So now they're on the other side of the door, and they get confused to which way the guy in the moat monster costume went.
Yeah, because there's so many tracks all over the place because, there was a very long chase sequence down here. So
yep.
There's the flippery feet all over the place. But Velma figures it out because if the tracks are side by side, it means he was hopping to, like, chase us. But if he's walking, that means that he's not in the costume anymore.
Right.
And that's the tracks that they need to follow.
So they follow the tracks and it goes to another dead end, and they find another horseshoe.
This poor horse.
Yeah, the nails they're using in those horseshoes must be terrible.
Apparently.
Because, like, who's your farrier, my dude? Like, do better.
Yeah.
Listeners, a farrier is someone who puts horseshoes on horses.
Good to know. Good to know. So, Shaggy throws the horseshoe.
Shenaniganery.
Serious shenaniganery in this time and place today. I don't know if you counted the scaring Scooby. Obviously, that's also shenanigan.
I did.
Good.
I did.
So he throws his horseshoe. It, like, hits one of the many stalagmites, and that happens to be the one that opens a secret door to get them the fuck out of here. Thank you, Shaggy. But he'd made a wish when he threw it to not find the haunted horseman.
Yep. But Shaggy starts sneezing the farther they walk. And
that was very, like, very long hallway.
Yeah. And you're like, there must be hay around here. And it's coming from above them.
But the last time that he was sneezing was at that farm from before. Huh. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
And then, Shaggy does the sneeze thing, achoo, and then falls back into a thing, and they're all happen to be standing on an elevator.
Shenanigans.
So now we are in a barn, and the elevator goes back down without them. And we're like, we recognize this barn. It's gotta be on that guy's farm.
Mr. Wheatley's barn.
Yeah.
And then Scooby gets himself coated in some kind of paint, which
luminous
makes him glow.
Paint, which luminous paint just, like, keeps coming up in this show specifically.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know if, like, luminous paint is necessarily a thing that exists the way that they're presenting it as. I'm pretty sure it's just glow-in-the-dark paint.
Yeah, I just googled luminous paint, and all I'm seeing is luminescent paint or glow-in-the-dark paint.
Yeah, I think glow-in-the-dark is what it actually would be. But this is like, oh yeah, you just paint yourself and suddenly you're glowing, I guess. Which I don't think that's how that works.
No, it's
someone
it's probably
needs
closer
to
like
science.
What's in glow sticks.
Yeah. So yeah, Scooby's glowing like a ghost, and Shaggy's, like, sneezing all over the place because there's so much hay all over here. Why did we take this poor boy here?
This poor boy.
I do love Daphne being like, wow, he's so bright, isn't he? He's saying, this is hay. So he sneezes. We find the guy who was in the frog suit. And also, the haunted horseman happens to be here. Headed straight for them. What do we do?
We're getting the hell out of here.
Yeah. Trap. I don't know how they did this trap so fast.
Me neither. But they catch him on a rope underneath some hay bales. And that's enough to, like, bring him down. Which, to be fair, hay bales are pretty heavy. They're, like, at least 100 pounds per bale. So
I don't doubt the trap itself. It's just the fact that it goes from, oh no, he's coming straight for us, to he's going through a trap.
Yep.
That we do not see them set. But, yeah.
But then
who's it?
He's underneath a hay bale, and we unmask him. It's the Duke. The Duke of Strathmore.
And who is the guy in the frog costume, who's now wearing Scooby gear?
It's Mr. Wheatley.
No way! What's going on here?
2 of the 3 other named characters two of the 4 named characters in this episode that aren't Davy Jones. Crazy.
Yeah. I do like the line that they say that their haunting license is expired.
That was good. I like that.
It's very good. It's very beautiful.
But then we do something interesting here.
Very interesting. Yeah?
Like, this is one of the most interesting ways that a Scooby-Doo villain's been dealt with that I've seen, because what they do is instead of, I guess they, for whatever reason, can't arrest them.
Well, if they call the authorities, that would bring shame on the family. Oh no.
A travesty. I don't give a shit. I would have done it, but I'm not them.
They're weird, rich, like, nobility people. So, like, they're not
Right.
gonna do that shit.
So what they do instead is they make them do that same act as part of the tourist attraction.
Mm-hmm. I love it as a tourist trap. It's very good.
Yeah. They're just leaning into it now.
Yeah, they got Davey selling tickets. They're doing shows 3 times a day.
That somehow doesn't seem like enough, but okay.
Yeah. Also, they got little toys and stuff. The moat monster.
Right.
And the Duke is complaining that he's getting like ow in his butts.
Well,
He's getting saddle sores.
Well, it's fine.
He kind of earned it.
Yeah.
And Davey thanks the gang for everything.
Yep.
And then there just happens to be like a weird joke line where how does this even fucking start? It's they end up making fun of Shaggy, like he's gonna make a break for it if there's a ghost.
Yeah, because he'll flee if he sees a ghost, right? And apparently that's enough to make Scooby itchy, because I guess even homophones get him going.
Yeah. Listen, Scooby doesn't know a whole lot of English, but the English words that he knows are food, steak, fleas,
And ghost.
ghost. And the gang is off, and that's the end of the episode.
Indeed it is.
We did it!
Not a great showing for Mr. Davy Jones in terms of shenanigans, Charlie. We only ended with a shenanigan count of 20.
I mean, that's like about what, maybe mid-range? Lower mid-range?
It's mid-range. It's a shenanigan every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So
I did enjoy this episode very much, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's still very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Right. But Ethan, what time is it?
It's terror time again.
Let's talk about some trivia. I Can Make You Happy. The song used in this episode was previously used in the Scooby-Doo Where Are You episode, Mystery Mask Mix-Up, which we had Haley on for. In that episode, it was performed by George A. Robertson Jr. It doesn't say here, but I believe he sang all the songs for
he did, yeah.
like that season anyway.
Mm-hmm. He did.
So I guess they were all covers.
Yeah. This is the only episode that does not include Shaggy and Scooby in the chase scene.
Yeah, very interesting. This episode seems to bear resemblance to Scooby-Doo Where Are You episode, A Gaggle of Galloping Ghosts. And they're both castles that are imported from Europe to America. The latter, in this case, is from Transylvania, and were meant to serve as tourist attractions until somebody scared the tourists away for their own benefits.
After Davy falls down the stairs in the tin suit of armor, Velma insists on helping him out of his outfit. After the matter, Fred states, "Women go figure them out." An interesting comment and situation made in a kids' TV show. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
I think they were supposed to be making some weird joke about, like, some weird almost sexual joke, I guess, because, like, they end up, like, trying to undress him. The girls do.
Oh.
I
guess.
I did notice that the first time I watched this episode, I was just like, I think that's what they're going for, but, like,
I guess.
I still quite
that
land.
Was not clear.
Yeah, it doesn't quite land in the way you would think. But, like, Fred's just like, ugh, you guys are trying to take him out of his clothes? Interesting.
I guess.
So Davy Jones passed away on February 29th, 2012, at the age of 66. I think in this episode, he was, like, 28, 29. Yeah, 28, because... Oh, wait, 27.
This episode came out December 2nd, 1972.
Yeah, because he was born in 1945, so...
Okay, yeah. This episode is one of, if not the only episode of the new Scooby-Doo movies to have a musical chase scene. I'm sure you liked that, Charlie.
I did like that. And that's why I was just like, wait, this song, this was from one of the shows. I know, I can't remember which show, but it is from one of the shows, because they definitely used this exact song before. Yeah. Yep. And I was trying to figure out if the next episode also has one, because Once again, we have another, like, musical guest star in the next episode, but I don't think it has a musical chase scene.
Weird. I don't know why there wouldn't be.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to watch it to figure out.
Yep, we'll find out next week.
This is one of the few, if not the only instances where the villains are not arrested, but neither forgiven for their criminal acts, since Cyrus and the Duke are forced against their wishes to help raising money for the castle instead of going to jail for their crimes. Yay.
Alright. Hooray. Cultural references. Oh boy. Davy Jones is best known for being a member of the Monkees, a 60s pop rock band that rose to fame on the back of their self-titled 1966-1968 NBC TV series. By the time this episode aired, the Monkees had already disbanded, yet Jones already established international stardom as a teen idol. Also, CBS had just finished a 3-year run of repeats and redone episodes of the Monkees TV series on a Saturday afternoon schedule moved to ABC. Another former member of the Monkees, Mickey Dolenz, was already working as a voice actor for Hanna-Barbera and would be a regular voice provider on the franchise's upcoming incarnation, The Scooby-Doo Show.
Sir? Interesting. I'm gonna look this person up. Who are you in the other things? I'm very interested to know. This only says he's in one episode there. The Scooby-Doo Show, and it's my least favorite episode. Mamba Wamba. But he was also in Funky Phantom, which is one of the other Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Okay, we already talked about the reference that Davey said about the Monkees. And then our last cultural reference is that Shaggy mentions Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. Henry VIII was King of England from 1509 to 1547, known for his 6 wives that were either beheaded or had their marriage annulled because they could not produce a male heir. Anne Boleyn was his second wife, who was beheaded because she was accused of having an incestuous affair with her brother George Boleyn, and George was also beheaded for the same crime.
Gross.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. So, yeah, this episode shenanigans, we already said, it was like 20, it's about mid-tier.
Yep.
But whose side are we on for the episode?
I don't know. I don't really like taking the side of rich people.
You don't like taking the side of rich people? I'm on the side of Davy Jones in this episode. Because you know what? This guy is just trying his best to help his uncle.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm gonna wear this little suit of armor and try to scare off the ghost. Like, no one else in Scooby-Doo really tries that, you know?
Yeah.
He's got gumption.
He does have gumption.
And then our Scooby snack rating for the episode.
This was not one of my favorites, but
I give it a 3.5.
I can give it a 3, so makes it 3.25.
I thought it was cute because I'd never seen it before, and I was like, oh, that's a cute little episode. Yep. Okay.
So that about wraps it up for us.
Yeah, it does. Well, gang, I guess we have to split up and look for clues for our next episode, or next mystery, I should say. Bye!
Bye.
You can follow this podcast's socials at Mysteries in the Machine Pod on Instagram. You can send a message to our email, mysteriesinthemachinepod@gmail.com. Be sure to give us a rating, a review, or let your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. That really helps. You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms. I also have an art Instagram at GreenPixieDraws.
You can find me, Ethan, on Instagram and Threads at ethan.t.hewlin. Our music was written and produced by Jason Hilton. You can find him at Negative Selections on Instagram.
If I had a nickel for every time there was an episode of Scooby-Doo that was the something of something hall, I'd have at least 2 nickels because the next episode is the same kind of title.
Yeah, that's what it is.